Hi there. I want to talk to you about the writing rich classroom that is a part of these lesson plans that you have. Whether it's 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you will have a writing rich classroom. Every single day of these lesson plans involves your students writing, even if it's just informal writing. In fact, there's very little multiple choice type activities in these lesson plans, except for some of the end of unit assessments. And no, you don't need to grade all that writing. As your personal instructional coach, when you join up with our community, I will show you so many ways, tips, tricks, and hacks so that the kids are writing more and you are actually grading less. No matter what state you live in or what educational standards you have to follow, you know that students need to be doing more writing now than ever before. And so these lesson plans have mapped out all the different types of writing that your 6th, 7th, or 8th graders need to practice. In fact, the writing activities are completely parallel and totally aligned to the unit and the lesson plans. For instance, if you're teaching expository texts, if that's what you're reading in class, then that's the type of writing the students will be doing all throughout the unit. I also include all different types of writing opportunities for students, as well as many purposes for what they're writing. So they might complete a research writing process one week, which is definitely more of a formal writing process, of course, but then they'll also be writing quicker, shorter, and more informal types of writing too. Okay, I just clicked on the wrong thing here. I don't know what I did. So let me go back into this. And that's the point. Your students are going to write more often than they ever have. They will work harder than you will. And so that's the point. Your students need to be doing more work and more writing. I can also say that most of the grammar and mechanics activities and skills and goals that students are required to meet each grade level, they're actually embedded into the writing assignments so that you're not even teaching those skills in random isolation either. It's all embedded. It's all laid out. Let me show you a few things here. This is a writing activity for one of the 6th grade units. They have completed reading a play, doing some drama analysis, and now they get to actually write a play. And you know that you cannot just say to 6th graders, or to any grade level really, okay, class, you're going to write a play. You have 2 class days, you may begin. Okay, that is vague. I mean, what direction are your kids going to go in? You'll have a few who will take that and run with it, and most are not going to have any idea. So let me just show you. When I say, or when I put in the lesson plans, okay, students are going to be writing this type of assignment, I'm very, very explicit with the directions that the students will receive. So this is an example of a front and back handout. And so this walks the students through exactly what they're going to be doing to write a play, what the components of the play will be, what you will need to do each day, the materials that you'll need. And then you can see on what would be the second side of the paper, the steps the students have to complete before they even begin writing the play. This is just brainstorming. And so all my writing activities are like this. In 7th or 8th grade, when the students get to the research writing process, it's not vague. It's not pick a topic and get on the computer and make sure you use reliable sources. And no, it's all spelled out for them in specific strategic activities. So back to the play example. All the brainstorming is there for your students to do. It even tells them about how long the play should perform. And it includes a rubric. For the formal writing assignments, I do include a rubric that you and the students can use. Here's an 8th grade independent writing assignment. So this comes at a point in the expository reading and writing unit after students have learned about deductive and inductive reasoning. And so this provides brainstorming. In fact, over on the left-hand side, I include my own brainstorming so that the students can see what that brainstorming looks like, and then they can copy that model over on the right. So many of these writing assignments, in fact, I would say almost all of them, are assignments I myself have completed. I have put myself into the position of our students, and I have written, and then that's how I know what students are probably going to be struggling with, besides the fact that I have over 15 years experience teaching writing in grades 6 through 12. But I'm just saying that these are lessons and activities I myself have done through the eyes of the students. For this one, and for many of them, I actually include an example of what that type of writing assignment might look like. So this is a little sample of what a student writing would look like for a deductive reasoning paragraph. just so that kids can see kind of what the finished product might look like. I think that helps them. Okay, in 8th grade, another 8th grade unit. This is back in the narrative reading and writing unit. And so this is more of a peer revision sheet so that when students have completed the rough draft, they can have a friend look at it. And so again, I am not vague at all. I don't ever just say, you know, in the lesson plans, okay, you're gonna have your students swap papers and read each other's narratives and give each other feedback. That is vague. What does feedback mean? What does that mean? What kind of questions should they be asking in each other's papers? So a handout like this, for instance, is just one example of how I make sure that the students are asking just the right questions in their own papers. Here's a narrative writing rubric that goes with that same unit. You can make this as complicated or as simple as you want. So this is just an example of what the characterization focus writing assignment would look at. But here's something else. This is another example of that same rubric, except this time it explains a hypothetical student's grade. In this example, this student did really well on content, conventions, and neatness. A little bit weaker on characterization and organization, but he ended up with a score of 94. This is a really good tool to use with your students so that they understand what they're being graded on and so that they understand where their points come from. So this is just an example of the types of rubrics and activities that I've built into all the lesson plans. So we talked a little bit about the more formal writing process, but I wanted to be clear that in a writing-rich classroom, many of the activities, in fact, nearly all of the activities are writing based. And so this is just an example of a quick assignment in the 7th grade narrative reading and writing unit where students get to view a short story through a YouTube video that, yes, I have watched and previewed, and it's all good. And so it walks students through the process of writing about what they are reading. So I hope that helps you see what the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade writing-rich classroom looks like and how I help ensure that you do, without a doubt, have a writing-rich classroom that you can be proud of.